know what? Yeah. Cheers. There's no milk in it. What are you, barbarian? You're watching Elite Magazine, and with me I have none other than Quickshot. To shake things up today, I'm actually on the other side of the screen than what we normally do, and I promise you this will be just slightly different. Obviously, I just kind of did introduce you, but it feels wrong to not let somebody who talks all the time introduce himself, so, give him a hold.
Well, thank you very much. Trevor Henry, nickname Quickshot. I'm a shoutcaster for the European LCS, currently in Tallahassee, Florida for the Mid-Season Invitational, and super excited. Just wrapped up my 3 games for the day.
Yes, and normally that's my introduction, actually, but there we go. Somebody saved me the effort. Obviously, we're going to start like somewhat on key and then just spiral out of control from there. To begin with, when you came in, you're doing like a lot of color casting and things like that because you were kind of put in between Joe Miller and D-Man. And obviously there wasn't room for everybody doing all the play-by-play. And I found an old quote of yours going like way back before you started with Riot.
I'm getting worried now.
Yeah, in which you said that you would like to go bigger and wilder once you're a bit comfortable. And then I sat and found some other quotes. Things like a double serving of sushi when Nami and Fizz died head-to-head. Today's absolute favourite, Can't Stop the Power Pony. And I'm wondering, is this you being bigger and wilder? Is this you being comfortable? Because it seems like you got bigger and wilder.
Yes, it is. It's also to do with the role. Prior to joining Riot, I actually did a lot of solo streaming. And I would do 3 to 6 to 9 hours of content, depending on the day, completely alone. So one of the reasons I stepped into the color or the analytical side with Joe and Lee was I had experience doing both, and the broadcasting did that one. Now that we've actually lost 2 of the greatest play-by-play casters that League of Legends has had,
Granted.
I've had the opportunity to do something that I feel suits my personality, my voice, and probably my energy levels a little more. And that's where the play-by-play comes in. So you're 100% right. I have gone wilder, I have gone bigger. I also challenged myself to let some of the personality come through. And while I'm not on freak levels as far as puns are concerned, I like to think I can string a few interesting phrases together.
Is League big enough to have 2 people on freak's level of puns? Is there room enough?
I sincerely hope so, but time will tell, right?
Yeah, true.
I've still got to get a few more levels under my belt before I can quite get there.
You did a quite good one on us when we went to the spring finals with the whole Kiss Me Deficio thing, where the camera went out to the crowd. That was
so. The thing is, I actually have to. You know what? It's beautiful that you think that and that you're saying it's me. That was Martin. That was all Deficio.
Was that?
Yes, really.
Really?
Now,
I call that as being you.
I would like to think I have a relationship with him that encourages the loopiness.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kiss cam came up, and both of us were standing there flabbergasted, and my brain was going, oh, what do I say now? Like I've never been in this position before. And he turns to me and says, "Kiss me, Trevor." At which point I just died.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a moment that I'm happy to have experienced, but it was all Martin.
Oh, blimey. I put that in my head as being you watching that game. It was just kind of a you thing to do. I mean, even today when you went like the ooh at the end of it, I'm actually thinking like what we used to see with Arnold Schwarzenegger and things like that. Do you reckon by the end of your career you'll have your own soundboard and people will call up like burger joints and just, quick shot them?
It would make me very happy. I recently had a great experience after Madrid. A couple of fans actually messaged me. We did an AMA leading up to MSI, and they said, we actually have Flash Bear Slap recorded on my phone as a ringtone. And I sort of went, it sounds really nice, but send it to me.
Yeah.
And within an hour, the guy had actually uploaded the file and sent to me an MP3 of my voice yelling, "Flash Bear Slap."
Yeah.
And it's very humbling. It's very exciting to think that somebody's watched the game, has watched me yell something that's honestly quite weird, and gone, that was cool. So I would like to work towards that one day and inspire people to actually have that kind of stuff.
I was about to say, I mean, you got quite a lot far. If I could actually speak right now, I would have said something in the lines of, you've gotten quite far ahead already. But I wouldn't. I would just tongue-tie myself instead. But, I mean, even in the press room now, people were sitting there going, we are so going to clip that out for Soundboard. I'd like to say I thought that, but I stole it. Someone else was talking about it, simply because of the thing you did during one of the matches, which was also hilarious.
It's something a lot of the play-by-play commentators think about, but you don't build a career off sound clips.
No,
right?
obviously not.
Right, but it is something you think about. Earlier today, Demon actually tweeted at the show opener that Doa won the best intro to a team. because in the video they had each of the regional teams winning and the moment that they won to qualify for MSI.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things that you challenge yourself to give the most exciting, most relevant,
exactly.
most prevalent line to make people go, wow, give them goosebumps and chills.
But I mean, that's also part of the thing, because I mean, LoL in itself is a very interesting game. But obviously, if you're not dead into it, and if it's a game like, oh, I don't know, CLG versus Cloud9, they're not always that interesting. Some of them get a bit drawn out. And then we have other games like, well, Edward Gaming did today, where they just completely clobbered AHQ. But that was an interesting match. But I mean, sometimes when you have these like dreary matches that go on for 50 minutes of two people farming lanes, and then the stream crashes and we have to start over, if we can ever forget that finals, you know, it's really important to have people who could make making toast sound dead interesting. And obviously you've kind of moved into that role somehow. And do you find that's something you always did? Or have you kind of morphed since your Call of Duty days and all these things? Have you morphed into being more of an animated character?
No. That's a simple answer. I have always been involved in anything that is talking related. I used to be the captain of the debating team. I did
bit of a mass debater.
I did competitive debate, I prefer.
Yes.
But you know, I liked challenging myself to argue, to debate. I did public speaking at a national level. I represented my province in South Africa, and I've always been involved in talking. It's part of the reason I think I'm well suited to the position, because I have been doing it for so long. What is different is the environment. You don't get hired as a shoutcaster and get given ultimate freedom on day one, because you have to prove to yourself, to your viewers, to the game, to the teams, to managers, to producers, that you can be trusted, that you can deliver a performance and a cast that is entertaining and educational and all that. So the reason that I have been able to just sort of blossom this year in 2015, this is my 3rd year with Riot. It's my 4th year casting. And I've got a lot of experience. I like to take a little bit of risks. I do tend to say very polarizing statements, but it is a conscious decision.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mind making a few people angry if I touch a sensitive spot. And that's something that I've earned the right to do because I have so many years and so many games under my belt, which I'm very, very fortunate to have.
Well, I mean, if you've never made anyone angry, especially online, you've never said anything worthwhile anyway. It's just the truth, isn't it? But all right, going through like all the pleasantries. From your point of view right now, and I'm not going to ask you to predict. I already did that with pyrotechnics, and it was fun to do once, but I won't do it again. But I mean, do you imagine we're going to have any like full-on shockers this time around? Do you imagine we're going to have any like complete wildcards, screwballs going in? Because I mean, even the first one now.
I think we already have.
Yeah, I was just about to say Fnatic TSM.
If you're
was a
talking
bit.
about shockers and surprises at MSI, almost everybody had written off Fnatic coming into this tournament. Now, everyone who you spend enough time talking would say, yes, there is a chance. How good are they?
Yeah.
And they manhandled TSM. Now, there are 2 reasons for that. Number one, they got to play their style. This is Fnatic. They had a different set of champions, which surprised us, but their play style was very similar. TSM also made mistakes. Their draft was not particularly effective, and their usual strengths were not demonstrated. So the reason it looked so incredibly one-sided is because Fnatic did a little better than we're used to, and TSM did worse. That increases the disparity. But it's still a shock. It's already a surprise.
Oh, it is. And also TSM kind of walked into that one blindly by trying to deny them Rek'Sai without really having a plan for it on their own. You know.
Yeah.
That aside, obviously there are some far more pressing matters in the world. Assuming that they ever made like a sequel to the first Matrix film, what do you think it should be like? What do you reckon it should have been?
What do I reckon? This is the thing. I don't know why people like. I like the sequels.
This interview's over.
Revolutions, revelations. But I also think I don't know why people had high expectations. I didn't. I went into it and was like, you know what? It's going to be a sequel. You're never going to top Matrix. Matrix redefined modern cinema.
That is true.
And I was like, you're not going to do that a second time. So I, for one, had low expectations, enjoyed it for what it was. Was it incredible? No. Should it have been one? Yes.
So there's kind of
I still liked it.
Kind of a life lesson in here. You know, lower your expectations towards everything, and you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. As long as you got low expectations, you'll never be disappointed.
That's sad and true.
It is
profound somehow.
You've got to pick and choose your battles, right?
Yeah, not true.
MSI I had very high expectations because we have fantastic. The sequel to The Matrix, and I'm going to go another step forward, the sequel to Star Wars, let's lower our expectations, right? And then see what happens.
Completely. That is completely true. I love how everybody right now is going off their head for the next Star Wars trailer. And at the same time, do you remember that feeling, that shiver that went down your spine the first time you saw a man wearing black getting a red lightsaber out, looking at the camera, and then getting a second red lightsaber out of the same damn saber? Everybody freaked.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at the new Star Wars movie going, it's a slightly different uniform. This is going to be the best movie ever.
It's sad, but it is true. I personally just keep getting frustrated watching the Millennium Falcon do barrel rolls in atmosphere. Like everything I've been taught about flight says that shouldn't work. So I can't get behind that.
Are we going to like odds, or should we not talk about the odds of that one?
No, rather not. I think we've
all right.
detoured far enough.
Off the top of my head right now, though, jumping completely back the other way. If you could introduce a champion or a mechanic to League of Legends, if you could introduce some kind of feature, and I'm just thinking now, because I'm playing certain other games that I won't mention because it's a huge banner here, but there is a certain champion that parasites things, and I thought that was an interesting mechanic that you kind of piggyback on another champion. If you could bring any feature into League of Legends, if you could design a concept, what do you think it would be?
Probably something around itemization. I think one of the things that I find most enjoyable is looking at a champion that has multiple routes that they can itemize, and that changes their effectiveness. Maokai being a prime example. This is a guy that can pick up a Catalyst or Protector and then decide, does he want to go a little bit more damage heavy Rod of Ages, a little bit more engage heavy with Righteous Glory. In the jungle, looking to go Warrior Enchant, Cinderhulk. I love itemization because it completely changes the dynamic and the play style. So I actually would probably look at introducing more items, probably with actives, which also increases the skill cap. Because now you not only have multiple choices, but you also have multiple tools that people then have to use in addition. How many times have you tried to use, RIP DFG, but the active spells on your Hourglass, on your Gunblade, something like that, and you die and you look at the dude with 50 HP and you go, if I just pressed 1 or 2, you would have got him, right?
Sonya's is my bane.
See?
I forget it every
So
time.
that's what I would do. I'd like to do. The thing is, it also completely changes the dynamic. Luden's Echo is a prime example. Got introduced a few patches ago. Cassiopeia was not particularly popular at all at the professional level, but with the introduction of Luden's Echo and that additional 100 damage, which doesn't sound like a lot, all of a sudden it's like one of the top tier picks. So I like to do that. It brings a lot of change in. And it encourages you to look at the game in a very different light.
So, I mean, in going by that, do you miss some aspects of Season 1, Season 2, where you had every character pretty much had an AP and AD build, and the remnants today, Ezreal and 1 or 2 others, you can see that all the new champions, you don't really have that 1 or 2 ability that you can troll pick and go by.
I actually don't, and the reason I don't is the troll build is actually not conducive to me to an enjoyable game. AP Misfortune drove me up the wall. Make it rain and bullet time, and you're like, well, what am I meant to do with that? So I kind of like the fact that the game is being narrowed in some ways. You could argue, does it make it less interesting? Maybe. But you've got 120 plus champions.
Yeah.
So if you want to play something that deals ranged AoE magic damage, there are other champions available. Pick Vigor. It's much quicker, it's much higher burst, and you don't have to waste your time with silly animation. So I don't miss it, but I do think having more options would be a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah, okay. I mean, obviously now I've mentioned some of your quotes, I've mentioned some of your things, and it kind of made me think of what D-Man used to do with the whole "oh my lord" kind of thing. Do you find, when you listen to others, do you have any favorite catchphrases that they do?
Yes and no. There are certain lines. What I tend to look at more is the style, the way things are delivered. And I have certain styles that I particularly love. Riv, for example, has got very, very exciting inclination when he has these really oddball lines. Today, when Faker went down to Besiktas, he said 10 points to Dumbledoge, who got the kill. Now, this is a joke that we had said, off air in passing. but he delivers it so well.
Yeah.
But if I were to say, there are a few quotes, but I think it's more the delivery that gets me excited and gets the hair on the back of my neck standing.
So kind of like with most comedy, really. I mean,
Yes.
bad delivery can ruin any joke.
Correct.
Okay, one thing to kind of end up on, because apparently people behind the camera, there are actually people behind your screen right now waving at us. I know, right? Are telling us that we need to move this along. So I'm gonna throw you like one more question. If we assumed that we took all the casters from the different leagues and everything now, and built like 2 teams, do you reckon? Actually, and we'll just reduce it to the amount of size. It's all Aram. It's all Aram.
Okay.
Right. Which region do you reckon would win?
So I still have to go on mechanical prowess and the fact that certain regions have a number of ex-pros.
Ah, yeah.
So if we're gonna go regional, we're gonna look, China, Korea, North America, LMS, etc. NA would win. They have a very large caster contingency with a large number of ex-pros. And just on a mechanical level, and I've played ARAMs with them, they're pretty good. Then it would be Korea. Again, also, ex-pros on board, and they can do well. And then it would be a toss-up between China and EU. At the moment, EU's got a very small caster team, so we may need to borrow some things. But if you look at our caster desk, analyst desk, we have some talent on there.
That's true.
So we should be able to use on air, and that may shift the power of balance in our favor.
Yeah. So you've heard it, lads. Like, he's calling you out. He's just saying it, One last thing that I noticed and I found really funny. One of the arguably right now best team in North America has no Americans on it. It's got a bloke from Hawaii, Canada, and 2 Danes, and a Korean. What's your take on that? That the Yanks pretty much. That's right, I said Yanks. Pretty much just kind of bought their talent.
I don't think that's entirely fair. I don't think that's entirely fair. And I'll tell you why. Yes, regional, where people were born is a big deal, but Hawaiian, Canadian, let's be fair, American.
Do you think they would appreciate that?
Probably not, but, lifestyle, yada, yada. But what I think is very important to note is the origin. The fact that the organization is American, that it is driven by homegrown American guys that is developing and everything. And we have a debate internally quite often about whether or not organizations or players earn titles. Looking at SKT, World Champions, looking at Fnatic, World Champion Season 1, does it still count? Fnatic no longer have any of the members that won the World Championship, yet they still won. So it's one of these things that a young fledgling sport has to start talking about. I don't know, we're in America, so let's go NFL history or baseball history.
Yeah.
But the Red Sox won in '64, I think. They still own that title, right? Despite the fact that they're not there. So
that's true.
I think you look at organization, you look organizational roots. I think it's fair. They're waving an American flag. Who are we to say otherwise, right?
That's true. Although I was going to say they'll invade us, but I won't.
Yeah.
Can we cut that, by the way?
Yeah, I hope so.
So, with that, thank you very much for joining us. And for the rest of you at home, this was Leap Mag. Stay tuned for more on the Mid-Season Invitationals. Ta.